We're going to be kicking right off. Welcome, everybody. Go back to my share tab. Here we go. Okay, so let's get rolling here. I'm really excited about this session. This is one of my favorites, just to explore how we can get our students to capture their learning in Canva. So welcome, everybody, to Capture Student Learning with Canva. And we're going to kick right off. I'm Liz Bostwick, your Canva Learning Consultant. I'm based out of New York and currently in South Carolina. I've taught in the classroom for over 18 years in elementary and then worked as a technology integration specialist. I'm also the author of Take the Leap, Ignite a Culture of Innovation, which is all about how we can create meaningful and authentic learning experiences in the classroom, and also how we can leverage ed tech to just deepen learning, empower our students, spark creativity, and really allow them to be able to show what they know and who they are in their own unique way. You can connect with me on social media, and of course, you can always share out using our hashtags at Canva. Just know that if you're ever looking for Canva on social, it will have just at Canva at most of the social channels, because Canva is used widely around the world by all businesses, individuals, entrepreneurs, you name it. If you're looking for specific Canva related content to education, you can hop on over to Twitter, newly renamed as X. Nothing's been updated here yet because a lot of that's happened so quickly, but you can always check out Canva EDU. And it's a great way just to be able to see how Canva pertains specifically to education. In this session, we are going to dive into what Canva is. We'll look at the student learner journey in Canva, hands-on learning, of course, and any closing and questions throughout the time. With that said, if you guys have questions or anything you hope to learn, feel free to drop that in the chat, because I'll check that out in just a bit too. Because I do want to make sure that everybody walks away with something, or if you have something that is like a burning question, we want to make sure that we answer that too. For anybody who might be new to Canva, we do want you to know that Canva for Education is an all-in-one visual communications platform. What that means is that you can utilize Canva to create anything that you imagine. So there are a lot of templates on hand for students and educators to customize however you'd like, but you can also customize by starting from scratch and really making it your own. Within Canva, you do have a complete visual suite of products. So Canva provides Canva Docs, Canva Whiteboards, presentations, social media resources, video, print products, and even Canva websites. So you can really use Canva for anything you imagine. Canva for Education is free for educators and students. It's not free outside of education, but at Canva, we do believe that education is a human right. One of the co-founders of Canva was a former history teacher as well, so giving back to the education community is really important. And our goal at Canva is to really empower everyone to communicate, create, and collaborate in the classroom, but also beyond. Also, because we have so many large businesses who utilize Canva, it allows us to make it free for educators and students. So that's really important. And ultimately at Canva, we do believe that the skills our students learn in Canva do transcend the K-12 landscape. So we're always thinking about, are we using something with students that they're going to be using in their future? So yeah, Canva is so amazing in so many different ways. You can be able to promote teamwork, creativity, communication, and collaboration in your students. So we are going to dive into a Canva whiteboard activity where we're just going to brainstorm a few things. We're going to explore how we can use Canva for our students to capture their thinking. So you're just going to pick one of these categories to think on. So I'll give you a second to think on it. And then I'm going to show you how you can add your response into a Canva collaboration document. We're also going to explore how you can support executive functioning in the classroom with Canva. How you can activate prior knowledge, and also how do you get students to reflect. So what I'd like you to be thinking about in these 4 categories, I'd like you to select one and think about what you currently do. And then once we share out, we're also going to dive into how we can hit on these 4 categories and leverage Canva to support these. So again, you might do something to capture student thinking or executive functioning, and it might not involve technology, and that's okay too. So any strategies, any activity that you do, share out in just one of these categories. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share a few links in our chat. See how many we got. Yeah, smaller group. Okay, so I'm going to send you guys a couple of links here. Just two. I'm going to break you guys up into two different groups. And I'm going to open this one. And what I'm going to do is first walk you through how to navigate this activity. So I'm going to share this so that everybody has editing access. There's going to be two copies, and I'm going to split you guys in half. But what you'll do is once you come in, you'll land on the first page, and you'll just toggle over to page 2. When you get here, you'll see that there are already sticky notes. You can see right now, all the font is very little, but you can come in down at the bottom, you can zoom in. You can also click the screen and then use a touchpad of a laptop, or you can use the shift on a keyboard, but you can zoom in, and all you have to do is double click. And if you delete this, you can type in the box. If you want your font to be larger, because again, this is only an 8, you can always come right here and make it as large as you want. You can also change the text or the font of the text. So just keep that in mind that you have that right here at your fingertips. And if anybody gets stuck, we're going to just let me know. But again, you're going to share your idea to just one of these categories. So my first group, I'm going to send this link, and anyone with a link can now edit this one. And I'm going to share this one to, if you have a birthday in the summer or fall, please click this link. And then for my winter and spring birthdays, I'm going to give you guys a separate one. And that way we're not too crowded. You can have 50 people collaborating, but just in case anybody's new, if you're not accustomed to collaborating in Canva, I just want to make sure that everybody can navigate. Okay, copy. And here's the second link. So again, if your birthday is summer and fall, grab that first link. If you're winter, spring, go ahead and take that second link. And as you click that link, we'll see you guys come on in here. Some of you are in my first session, so this will be a little bit familiar for you. And so just hop on over to page 2. So if you're on page 1, if you don't see the page icons along the bottom, there is an option to show pages or hide pages. So you do want to show the pages and then click over to page 2 and then select just one category and share a reflection to one of these. Looks like most people are in that first document. So we're just kind of activating prior knowledge ourselves on what do we do in the classroom in any one of these categories. What do we find helps us? And then we'll also explore how we can use Canva for these 4 areas too. And if anybody's having any trouble, let me know. I'm keeping an eye in the chat too. And also as a reminder, yes, everything is recorded. I'm also going to send your team a Canva site that will also have the links to all of our slide decks used today too. So if you want to explore, even if you were not able to attend the first session on Canva video and you want to explore that, you'll have access to the slides as well, so you can kind of explore anything that you are interested in. And we try to get everybody as hands-on as much as possible too, just for that interaction. And of course, getting your hands on Canva. Yeah, I think pair share, that was one of mine. We used lots of different Kagan strategies in the classroom. And I think pair share is a good one, especially when they learn those communication accountable talk structures, right? Like how do we appropriately share with one another so we're actively listening? Yeah, an activity they do with their families. These are all like such great ideas in here. So as you go ahead and share, I'm going to jump back to the presentation in a second. Yeah, write down and discuss too. Asking questions, telling a story, small groups. A prompt, something that makes them consider their experiences. Exit tickets, yes, and there are lots of exit tickets in Canva. And write and type what they learn. Lots of great ideas here too. All right, so I'm going to dive back into, if you want to continue adding here, please feel free to do so. I'm going to jump back into the presentation and we'll circle back to this collaboration doc in just a little bit. Okay, so we're going to go into the student learner journey in Canva. So what you're going to see is those 4 categories that are within that whiteboard. We're going to break those down and it's going to scaffold. It's going to begin with executive functioning and really how we can get our students just being able to regulate and think through how they can utilize goal setting. And then it's going to grow deeper into really how do they demonstrate their understanding in creative ways. So again, this will build, and I will be going back and forth from presenting to also going into just doing some demo too. So Canva could be used to support executive functioning, and we always want to be thinking to begin with the end in mind. So even our students, when you think about it, and I'm a parent of 2 teenagers, right? So not only from classroom experience, but my own children, and we know that you're going to have some students who are those planners who kind of have an idea of what they want to do and really takes their education seriously. But then you also have students that, you don't know what they're coming to school with, or, other ones that are just coming and it's like one day at a time and one activity at a time. So sometimes it's just really important for us to step back because us as educators, we have so much we want our students to learn. But stepping back and thinking, hey, our students might not be on the same page that we are, but helping our students engage in goal setting throughout the school year, thinking, slowing down and thinking about where am I right now? What do I hope for? And that doesn't mean it has to always pertain to academics. It could be social skills, right? Peer interactions and maybe even personal goals for themselves. So helping them to slow down and think about what it means to set a goal. How do we set our intention for the day? How do we decide how we're going to interact with our peers in the classroom can be really beneficial. Even student planners. So keep in mind that in Canva, we have templates for all of these, from goal setting to developing their student planners. Additionally, one of my favorites is using vision boards with students of any age. Sometimes we think of vision boards as like a New Year's activity, like, hey, we're in the new year. But really for educators, a new year happens right in August or September, depending on where you're located. So kicking off the school year like a vision board, and then maybe every month returning. So let's say we created something like this in a presentation, and this is page 1 for September or August, and then you created page 2 for the next month. What's nice is that they can reflect on the previous month and do an assessment. Am I focusing on the goals I said I was going to? Do I have new goals? They can really begin reflecting and thinking, what do I want to do to move forward? And what a great way to even look back on that at the end of the school year and be thinking, look at how my goals shifted throughout the year. But when we engage them in regular practice like that, we're also helping our students to become more mindful and be more conscientious of what their goals are, rather than simply showing up to school and doing what we need to do or not doing what we need to do, and kind of going about the day like that, but instead being more intentional. And sometimes that's a skill that needs to be taught for our students. And in my experience, it is a good one because it doesn't come natural to all students. And of course, we can always utilize Canva to activate prior knowledge. So I love the fact that within Canva, you have lots of graphic organizers, the KWL charts. That's just a classic way to activate prior knowledge. And it's nice that students you can, of course, anything in Canva you can download and print and share. But if you share it electronically or students open up their own, they can add their own text. There's a draw tool in Canva, which I'll demo in just a bit, but they can also add recordings. So it makes learning accessible for every student to be able to show what they know, because one student might want to add a recording to detail a KWL chart, and they might be more proficient at that compared to adding text. So it's really about empowering our students with tools that are going to help them be most successful. Within Canva, we also have lots of mind maps. So these are great in the Canva whiteboards because they do provide that infinite space for students to brainstorm and connect ideas. I also love using Canva whiteboards for the visual analysis. So even taking a picture like this, putting it in a Canva whiteboard, and just letting kids take in the information. So one of the visible thinking strategies that I would use in my classroom was called a see, think, wonder. It's a really great strategy for kids to just first up, note everything they see. And it's funny because a lot of times kids will be like, I see people. I see men with suits. I see hats. But if they keep going and you put a timer and I'm like, I want you to keep listing. What else do you see? What else do you see? Before you know it, it becomes, what do I see? Now, this is what I'm thinking. And then finally, what do we wonder? But it's a great way to deepen our engagement with students because you're now invoking curiosity. You're making them really not just look, and you're not just sharing the information, but they're diving in, they're making those connections. And you can use Canva for all of that. Same with this. Here when it may come to something environmental too. And of course, students can always capture learning in Canva. And that's going to look different no matter where you are. So here you can see we have digital notebooks, and I will demo out on this page. I can see I left something here from somewhere I must have been playing in here. So here we have, if you're thinking about digital notebooks with students, first off, before I even go into demo, we're here in the Canva editor. The Canva homepage, for anybody who might be new, we do have that here. This is where you're going to access any of your products within Canva. So since this is a deep dive, I don't go into some of the intro of like how to navigate the homepage and the editor. If you're looking for something like that, hopefully we'll run some additional sessions. I know your district offers a lot of support and may also have resources. At Canva, we also have a self-paced course. But I just want to show the difference between the homepage and the Canva editor. Here in the editor, I'm just going to refer to two things. I've got the black sidebar with all of our tabs that will open up the tray along the side. I can always open each one of these tabs. The tray will correspond to the tab. But then at the top, in this white section, we have what we call a top white toolbar. This top toolbar will modify depending on what I click. If I click the text, I'm going to see all of my abilities to modify that text. If I click on an image, I'm going to see edit photo. It's going to open all different things. So depending on what you click, you're going to have different functionality in your top toolbar. So anyway, back to this section here. I just wanted to hit on that before I go doing anything of a demo. But when we have our digital notebooks here, keep in mind that students can design their own covers. So again, we're really thinking about not just personalizing learning, but even personalizing the content that they're creating, what they're showcasing. And when they come in here, what I love is that we do have this draw tool in Canva. So on the sidebar, I was able to click the draw tab. And from here, I've got my highlighter. So I can always take my highlighter. I can adjust if I want to change the weight or even the transparency. So this is great if you want students to be doing like a close reading of anything. They can come right in and highlight anything. They can highlight where they found the theme or the main idea, or in math, what were the key words. They can also, if they're doing close reading, they can add a heart next to something maybe they loved. I love in Canva that if I draw a heart, let's make sure, there it goes. Oh, wanted to do a triangle. If I make it larger, and I draw a heart and then hold it into place, it will pop to be a little bit nicer. This one thought I was making a triangle. I was doing it too small. But then even though this is large, you can always resize and move it. But the students can use, like if they read a part that they loved, or they can add a question mark. So if there's something they have a question on, they can use a star to star something that stood out to them. So any of your close reading strategies or anything that you're doing with students, keep in mind this draw tool comes in handy for those purposes. So always nice to be able to use in here. And then with the digital notebooks, it's nice too that students can add on as many pages as they want to that. And even within each page of a notebook, a lot of times we think about it in terms of students typing or just drawing. But remember, if they're creating a digital notebook within like a presentation or anything like that, they can also add recordings, they can add elements to be able to really make connections to their learning. Flashcards are kind of traditional in education, but nonetheless, it's neat that kids can create these themselves. So think about it in science, they're creating something with mitochondria, the nucleus. They can add images, they can add the vocabulary word, and of course, they can add the definitions. But what's cool is that students can create their own games. And in creating, it's amazing. Like if they have to be like, okay, I've got the term mitochondria, now I've got to find an element. I need to make sure that matches. Okay, what's the definition? The students are having to type that all in. So they're processing, and then they can take this game and add it to the class game collection. Another team of students can play that game, and it can be a matching game. So that can be created in Canva too. So just be thinking about all the different ways that these resources can be utilized. And of course, you also have graphic organizers, and this is one I do like to jump out of and demo as well. I'm actually just going to add a quick page here, and I'm going to do a quick detaching of this image. I'm going to take it over here for just a second. So right here, we just have like a really basic graphic organizer. I think a lot of us can picture printing this out, handing it to students. The students may be having the rocks in front of them. Of course, they can classify them at their seats. They can group them. They can explore the texture and write everything down. That's one great strategy. Sometimes, though, it's also great to be thinking about what are some other things we can do, especially with technology at our fingertips. So here, when I'm thinking about igneous rocks, I know that students can go in and type in igneous rocks. And when they do that, they will get all types of graphics. They will also get actual photos. What's nice now here is they can bring in this photo. Remember, you can remove the background of any photo or video in Canva. So by clicking this and then going to edit photo, they can remove that background. Even though they remove the background, I still like to crop in the sides. And now from here, they can take this igneous rock and place it wherever they need, whether it's a classification, if they want to move it to intrusive or extrusive. So again, it just makes the connections be even more applicable to them. So you can see how they can do that. Additionally, they've got the draw tool in here, or they might want to upload their own videos or pictures. So they can always upload, or they could even go to record yourself. So keep in mind that simply by going to record yourself, it does open the recording studio. And from here, if I were to click record, I will get a countdown. Hi, everyone. I'm going to share all about my exploration of igneous rocks. One note on these recordings is that if I wanted to advance my slide, I didn't even need to stop recording. I could have continued speaking. I can continue advancing my slides. My video will fall on the appropriate slide. I'm just going to click done. And when you do a recording, you do need to click save and exit. And that video will land here. And it will play. But just keep in mind that this video, I can always put it anywhere. And what I can do is I can go to position. I can send it to the back. Or I can always go to layers and move it to the back. So students can always, whether they want to show themselves speaking or if they want to just have an audio there. So just be thinking that, again, we might not do something like this every class when we're doing an exploration or a STEM activity or however you might be using a graphic organizer. But on occasion, it's great to make sure that we're just keeping things novel in the classroom so that our students are always just thinking about what's going to be next. And now we're going to dive into how students can also demonstrate their learning. And then we're going to have you just take some time to explore and create something that really piqued your interest of these 4 categories. One thing we know is that choice and agency equals learning. Our students are going to be more deeply engaged when they do have choice and feel that they have some ownership. So here in Canva, one way, we do have lots of resumes. This is great for adults if you're looking for, maybe you're moving to a different school or, you have to move states, whatever. You might be using resumes, but we've also seen educators use resumes with students, and this is a really great way to do a character analysis. So it's really thinking about how we can shake up the activities in our classroom from something that our students have done every year. It just might look slightly different, but now we can really make it even more unique. Also, it gives our students, it's kind of like twofold. They're not just doing a character analysis, but they're also learning what is a resume? What goes on a resume? A lot of times students don't think about that until they're faced with that, maybe in a business class or maybe in a family and consumer science class, or some kids not until they're out of high school. So getting them in the position of knowing what this is also beneficial. We also have lots of infographics. Infographics you can also add a recording to, but it's so nice for students to be able to explain a process, break down steps, and they can be multiple pages. You can also embed links and videos. I really like how Emily Campbell, this educator, third grade teacher, how her students were using Canva to create magazine covers for planet research. So think about that within any content area or different subjects you teach, units throughout the year, and how you might be able to use something such as a magazine cover pertaining to your learning. And of course, some people are looking to do podcasting with students. So I'm going to tell you two things here is that we do have an integration with Soundtrap by Spotify. The only caveat is that Soundtrap is a paid for product. So if you don't have Soundtrap, and a lot of people then will use Canva to create the podcast cover, just to have that graphic design. However, educators are some of the most brilliant people I know of. And so educators are hacking the system because they want to use Canva for everything, which is awesome. But we do have educators, if you come up to present and record, you will be able to access just simply an audio only file. So we have had teachers having students do podcast-like activities using Canva. One of the best examples I saw was from Medford, Oregon, and it was two second graders who were reviewing a book on doing a podcast together on Sarah Plain and Tall. Both of these students, it wasn't like they were just like telling about the book. It didn't sound scripted. They took on these podcast show personalities, and it was quite delightful. So just think of different ways that we can also make those connections with our students, because podcasting is very relevant, and just being able to have our students think, instead of just doing a typical book review, how might it sound if they were doing a podcast episode where they were talking about this book? So just some different ways that we can explore those features. Within Canva, using the video product, you can always create explainer videos. So this is just right here, text, you've got elements. Here you're going to have a frame with a video inside of it, and then of course your elements and your text. And in between you're going to see page animations, you might see transitions in here. And so what a great way for students to be able to explain something. It could be explaining as they're learning, but it also could be as a culminating activity.
Brown Bear's Wonderful Secret by Caroline Castle and Tina McNaughton. Official trailer with 2.7 billion views.
So you can see here how easy it is to also create book trailers. So using the video product in Canva, it's just like creating a presentation. Each slide can be a different video, it could be a different graphic. And again, kids can begin adding animations in here as well. So keep in mind that in Canva, you can easily take anything and animate it. So I do want to just hit on that just very briefly. And so I'm just going to go to something we did earlier. You can always click, if I right click this, I can do a magic resize here. And I'm going to do a different animal this time. We're going to do a rabbit in the forest. I'm going to grab an animated one, and I just want to show you how you can add this rabbit to your scene. And from here up at the top, I have this animate tab. Now, one little hint I do want to share though, sometimes if you ever grab a template in Canva that already has an animation built in it, this word here might say custom. That means there's already a custom animation in it. But if you have that, you can always take it off. I just want you to know if you see the word custom, that's actually the animate. It's just that somebody's customized it. So I'll show you what that looks like. We can always click the bunny, click animate. And by creating an animation now, this bunny can just kind of move his way through the forest and just go on his merry way. So there he goes. He's just hopping along. And of course, we can smooth him out. speed them up. And so you can see how easy it is to create an animation, but this is what I meant. So if you look up at the top, see how that now the animate tab has changed to custom. It just means there's already a path customized, but if you want to delete that, you just click custom and delete the path, and then it's no longer there. I just want you to know how that bear was animated in here, because you can see he kind of zigzags back and forth. It makes dimension, but they also do that by duplicating the pages. So whenever you're creating in Canva, just know that you can duplicate pages as you go. And lost that little video. Where'd that just go? Oh, here it is. But by duplicating the page, that's how you also create multiple scenes, similar to if we had like one of those flip books, right? That kind of does that more of a manual animation. Within Canva, you can also create student learning portfolios. So using Canva Presentations, you'll always see the icon at the top, but just keep in mind that students can once a week or once a month, they can add a new page to a Canva presentation and build that out to be a portfolio. Within Canva Presentations, you do actually have the option up here when you go to share, you can actually share anything as a website. That doesn't mean it's going to be public, but if I wanted to share this presentation as a website, I could choose a scrolling or a classic navigation. So if students are creating a presentation in a portfolio within a presentation in Canva, it's nice that they can also share it as a website. That way their parents can every month, they can check in. What's my student working on, my child working on? What are their goals? What are they wanting to focus on and improve their effort in? And so it's a nice way, instead of the educators always communicating, it gives the students some of that power to be able to share that information. And sometimes when parents hear it from their children, it just means something a little bit differently than always hearing from the teachers. And then in Canva, you also have lots of game presentations. So if you're looking for anything to kick off the school year, this or that, any icebreakers, even if you're looking for a template to gamify a lesson you're doing, there's already pre-made templates. You just need to customize it, or you may find one that works perfect for you. And the last little section we have is using Canva for reflection. So just keep in mind that they can always take any of the reflection templates that we have. They can add text, elements, recordings, their own videos, and more. So many options for students. You can see all the different reflection opportunities, and really Canva has so much more to offer. So you are going to find menus. We used these last year with 5th graders using decimals as a culminating activity. They added and subtracted. They created their own menus to begin with. They ordered from one another. And again, that teacher wasn't doing those types of activities every day, but it was like every so often they had a different kind of project. These brochures have been really nice. I've seen some students in California using the brochures to highlight different areas within their region. So that was neat too. All right, let's dive into some hands-on learning. I know I've been doing a lot of talking in this session, so I would like you guys to pick one of these, or really, even if you just pick one of the 4 categories. So if you want to look at how do we get students to engage in goal setting, so goal setting or vision boards, maybe you want to look into how we get our students to activate prior knowledge. So you might want to look at brainstorms or any of the KWL charts, or of course you can go into how students can capture their learning. And what I'd like us to do is just get into creating. And we're just going to we won't have a lot of time to do this. Sometimes these deep dive sessions are 90 minutes, but we also convert them to 60 minutes on occasion as well. So let's see, about, we have till 12. Sorry, I'm on East Coast, so mine is 12:40. So we actually have a good chunk of time here. Actually, let's take about 10 minutes where you can go and create and ask questions at the same time. So you're going to go ahead and create based on thinking back here, getting students either reflecting, capturing their learning, executive functioning, activating prior knowledge. We're going to think about one of those categories, and you can go to your Canva homepage and look for anything in there within one of those 4 categories and explore how you might create. You can even play with that animation and find something within those categories that you might want to use this school year. You can always upload resources to Canva as well. So keep in mind that you can upload anything, any resource you already have created. So if you have something in your OneDrive and you want to import that to Canva, you can. So you can renovate anything you already have too by customizing it here. So if there are any questions, let me know. But otherwise, I'm going to put on a 10-minute timer and we're going to get creating and then we'll go from there. And I'm going to keep an eye on the chat for any questions we might have too. Great question. How did I put in the Canva timer? So as long as you're in either a presentation or a whiteboard, you will see the option for a timer just along the bottom of your screen. If you're in present mode, so if you're presenting, you can also access the timer that way too, but that's a little bit different, but I'll demo that one once this timer is done. But you should see it. It's not going to show on all Canva docs or on all their doc types, but presentations and whiteboards will have it. I don't believe they're in videos. No. So, but you will have timers in presentations because typically if we're going to have people collaborate or create together, then those timers come in handy. So that's why they're in whiteboards and presentations. Oh, so if you're going to have students introduce themselves to the class, I would use Canva Presentations. And if you go to Presentations, you also have some really great About Me. That's just a classic. I also like I do an activity in my introductory sessions where I have participants create a slide that tells like what would happen on their best day. That's just kind of a fun, like, if you had freedom to do anything on your day, what would you do? But from the homepage, at the top, if you go to presentations, you can go to, actually, just up to presentations here. And if I type in all about me, you will find that if you can see my screen for a second, you'll see that you have lots of options. Even this one here, like a lot of these have more than one. This has 10 pages. So kids could tell 10 pages about themselves. Typically, though, a lot of kids, you might take one page and it might be fun facts about me. They can swap out these pictures and add something about themselves. They can add text. And then, of course, I'm going to share the fact that I love the fact that students can come in and record themselves. So I love the fact that they can fun facts about me. It could be all about me. They can change that title however they want and tell 3 things that they want to share. I kind of like not locking kids into what they have to share. And then they can always add their recording. They can add their own text, their own pictures or videos, or their own uploads. It's nice too that in Canva, just as a little side note, in your apps, so at the very bottom of your sidebar, if you go to your apps, there is a translate app. This translate app is great because it will translate any one of your slides to a language of choice too. So that also comes in handy. Yeah, so the sessions we have today are deep dive sessions, so they really are jumping right in. So if you are newer to Canva, just know we're going to circle back to an introductory session at some point. I also like, though, that I do promise that even if you're newer to Canva and you're like, okay, I need an introductory session, even if you leave this session today and open this up on your own time and you're like, I'm going to make an about me slide to hang outside of my classroom so that when my students show up, they can see 3 fun facts about me. I promise you that if you come in here, you will find that you will design pretty quickly. I've worked with a lot of teachers who call themselves tech apprehensive locally, and I will tell you, they come in and they end up having so much fun in Canva, and because they're having fun, they end up learning all the tips and tricks along the way. So definitely check that out. When I send my resources along, I'm going to share a website that I've created through Canva for your district, and it's also going to have a self-paced course on there. So you could also go through that self-paced course. You can skip sections that you feel you don't need or repeat anything you want to repeat. Okay, so a couple of things that I do want to hit on before we move into anything else. I just want you to know that from your Canva homepage, this is where you really can access anything. Like I said, there's a lot of ideas in here. If you go to under templates from your homepage, especially for my newer Canva creators here, just know that you will, if you click that templates in the side, you will find, you can go by subject area, grade level. So I can go by 7th grade, 8th grade, or I can go by subject area. So if I want specific visual arts, math, I can do that. I can also go by resource type. So just know that you have so many options in Canva. And also, even if we're unsure about using Canva, I promise that if you start an activity and as long as you have some of the basic understanding, your students take advantage of learning from them, because they will come in here and they will just blow your socks off of like, look what I can do. And it's so exciting to be live with students. Unfortunately, I get to go locally quite a bit into schools, and it's great to work alongside the teachers and the students. And it's neat because a lot of times we'll just do a very quick introductory session with students, and we'll just be like, what do you think if I click here? What do you think will happen? What do you think is going to happen if I click here? What do you think you'll find under these categories? We actually just use inquiry with them. And before you know it, the kids are just in here creating, and they will discover, and they will suddenly say, look what I found, look what I can do. And what we would always do is say, okay, why don't you go up and share with everybody? And it was just a really cool opportunity to empower the students to share. And a lot of the times, the students, you know, we always have students who are going to shine with reading or math or writing. But it's neat because sometimes students feel as though those are not their strong suits. And so sometimes the students that feel like those aren't their strong suits will come into technology, and they will discover how to do all types of things that other kids may not as quickly. So it's just a nice way to be able to let all students shine. Keep in mind that in any design, you can always level up by adding in elements. You can use the recording studio. You can create a talking presentation, and more. I am going to take you guys through how you can share in Canva. This is optional. This is if you feel comfortable, but I do want to walk you through how you could do a gallery walk with students. So right now, I'm going to take this one, all about Olivia. And let's say I was creating this just now myself. I'm going to actually add all 14 pages. And let's say I'm the student and I created this, and I want to share this back to my teacher's whiteboard so that it can be on the screen and I can present to my class. And we're just going to show how we can do this as a gallery walk. So here at the top, I have my share tab. As the student, and you guys are going to walk through this too in just a second, but I'm going to click share. In order to share this, I only want to give a view only link. I don't want people coming into my design. I might not want everybody commenting, so I'm just going to go get a view only link. If I come here, I see the icon. I know my icon shows because I use that a lot. Yours may or may not show there. If it doesn't, if you don't see a view only link here, if you come down, you might need to scroll. So if you don't see the more right away, if you scroll right here to more, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click more. And now I'm also going to see the view only link. I'm going to left click that. And now I'm going to left click the word copy. I'm going to navigate back to this tab, and I'm going to go to slide 3 of that collaboration. And I can now right click or just paste. So you can do Control V. And if I paste this in, I can actually do a gallery walk. So if you can find any template that you were exploring in Canva, and if you want to practice sharing that back on this page, I'm going to move these things to the side, but you can come back into slide 3 and practice sharing a link in Canva. And that way you can see how you can do a gallery walk. And again, if you're newer at Canva, you might feel like, hey, I just want to watch what this looks like. That's okay. And if you have been using Canva for a while, feel free to just jump in. And if you're new and you're like, hey, I want to give it a try, by all means, go for it. There's nothing you can hurt here. So you might as well give it a try. So again, I'm going to walk through that one more time for anybody who might be stuck, but I'm going to go to my design that I explored during the time that we had our timer going on. I'm going to click share. I'm going to scroll down till I see the very bottom where it says more. I'm going to find the link graphic. I'm going to click view only link, and I'm going to click the word or the button copy. And then I'm going to go back to this collaboration document, and I'm going to right click and paste it in. So even if a couple people could just try that, it'll give a good demo example on what it looks like if we were to do a gallery walk. So you will want to be on page 3 to paste that in. So let's see if we can get a couple in here. And if not, I can always add a couple in just so you guys can get a good feel for what that looks like. All right, we've got a KWL chart. Now you will want to make sure, so some people I'm seeing some text come in. So what we're going to do is make sure you go to your document, make sure you click the word share, and then click down on more, and then click the icon that says view only, and then click the button. I know it's a lot of steps and we're virtual. So again, we're just going to give it a try and see how that goes. So I've added a couple here, but so if you're choosing just to watch, I do want you to see how you can very much just do a gallery walk with students. And then what's great about this is that you can always expand, so you can open from here. So if you wanted to showcase somebody's work, or maybe you want the students to come up and present, they're all in one place. Students can also provide comments to one another and more. So there's lots of options in here. Oh, here's a chit chat cube. That's awesome. Look at that. Yeah, some of these on the whiteboard. I think we had some people playing in here, which is fantastic. And so sometimes things get moved. So I didn't see this over here. And so you can always resize, or actually, this one seems super tiny at the moment there. I love that chit chat cube. That's a great example though. So yeah, you can really find all types of activities. There's a great meet the teacher. Very cool. But this is a great way that if you have students collaborating in partners, or even if they're working independently, maybe they're working in a group of 4 and you did a jigsaw activity, they can come back and share in a Canva whiteboard. You'll have everything in one place. Students can present, you can open the activities, and then they all live in one location. So these whiteboards are very versatile. So even if you're just watching and you don't want to paste a link, keep in mind you can click any design. And if you click the up arrow, it'll open the embed link to a new tab. So you can embed anything right here in Canva. So if we could, let's all, we'll do the very last thing where we're going to hop into page 4. Oh, here's another one too. I must have missed school year in review. That's cool too. So we're going to hop into page 4. I know we're coming to the end. I'm also going to turn this to a whiteboard. And if you're on page 4, all we're going to have you do is respond to one of these columns. So one thing you loved, or one thing you learned, or maybe if you have a concern or a question, we'd love to hear that too, of course. So you can always, once you're here on page 4, if you click elements on the sidebar, you can click grab a sticky note and then add any takeaways that you have. When you have the sticky note, you can simply just type on it. You don't need to add text. The text will already be embedded. So let's do one reflection and then we'll be closing out. So I see some of us, if you go to the left sidebar and click elements, there's sticky notes there. They will already have your names on them, but you will need to click on the left sidebar. So the black sidebar, if you see the word elements on the side, that tab, you will have sticky notes at your fingertips. As a side note, you can actually change the color of your sticky notes. You can change the font or the size of the text. You can change anything on that sticky note. So if anybody's looking for them, just go over to the left where you see the word elements, and then you'll have sticky notes right in there. Oh, I'm so happy you were able to look at doing book trailers in Canva. Yeah, that's one of my favorites too. It's so nice, so many different ways. And yes, Canva does offer lots of different creativity. And I am thinking some people may be having trouble finding sticky notes still. So if you want to come back to my screen, I just want you to know that you can click elements and you will have a wide variety of sticky notes here. So you can just add your sticky note and then it's going to have your name on it, or you can take one that I add and you can always just type on that one if anybody's having trouble. But they are just, if you go all the way to the left with the black sidebar and click elements, it will open that tray for you. And I promise if anybody here today is in a deeper dive session and Canva's new to you, just know that we do have our essential skills series that will build up to this level. Today, we're really diving into video. We've dove into how do we capture student learning. So if anybody's like, I need to know the bare minimum, I need the basics, we will look at being able to provide those sessions. But I know your district goes above and beyond to provide those supports as well. So of course, we just want you to know that we also have that self-paced course and we are more than happy to support as much as we can. Yeah, I love the idea of podcasting. Yeah, and Canva's more than just flyers, so many things you can use. Okay, I'm just going to do a quick, if you're adding comments, please feel free to add those. I just want to respect time and end on time. So I'm just going to do a quick wrap up. That way you have it in the recording. So if you are still contributing, feel free to keep doing that as well. If you have questions, please share those in the chat. We just want to make sure you are fully supported. Just know that everything will be shared with you, the recording, you're going to get access to all of our slides. You can click anywhere to visit. So if you're looking for teacher resources, there are teacher tutorials. We have a self-paced course. We actually have a student self-paced course. So if you want your students to have some supports, they're here as well. On Facebook, we have a teachers community that is growing by leaps and bounds with an average of 700 educators per day joining. It's a great place to connect with other Canva educator creators to get ideas. And the best part is that you're also going to have teachers share templates that they created themselves that you may not be able to find available anywhere else. Of course, we always love to hear your feedback too, so we do our best work. So please feel free to share that as well. And we can't wait to see what you and your students create in Canva. Thank you so much for your time today. And I'm just going to check the chat, see if we have any other questions in here. Yeah, definitely follow Canva on social media. And remember on Twitter or X, you also have @Canva.edu, so that's going to be specific for Canva for Education. So the self-paced course, I do have a link for that. Let me see if I can get your website up real quick. So you guys have a website here with all of those. Let me see if I can just share that with you guys real quick. So for anybody who wants to grab that, I will share it out with your district. They're going to share it with you as well, but you're going to, in this document, it's just kind of loading up the website real quick. So you can see how we can create Canva websites are essentially like a Canva presentation as well, like the way that it's built, and then we can just view our website. And so when you open this, that font should change here. Okay, there we go. And when you come through, you're going to find all the slides from our sessions today. So this is this session, and then we have another one of this session this afternoon. You are going to have your teacher site here. We also have the teacher course linked here as well. So just know that everything will be right in this, and I'm just going to share this in the chat so you have it at your fingertips if you want to grab it.